Oh, okay, though I guess this will be mainly geared toward the U.S. Armed Forces. It's really relevant to any group out there picking a side. I'll try and say whatever is going to come out as creatively as I can to paint a big picture of just maybe a snapshot of what I see. But right now, U.S. forces, you folks are needed at home badly. You don't realize yet, this place is being flooded and burned all over the place, and it's purposeful. And while you're out believing you're defending the folks back home in other countries over there, that opportunity is being used to destroy the place you feel you're defending. And I used to be one of you, that's why it's another one of these. I couldn't really realize all these things until after I got out, until I really pondered on them. But listen, let me start going way back. Let me go back to when I was a kid. I remember getting a VHS tape for Christmas from my mom, single parent. I grew up really not getting the full guidance I needed to take a good moral path through life. So I was guessing, but this videotape gift was the old Batman with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. What I realized later that I had watched when I was a child, I realized what I saw in that movie when it came out, the Joker had poisoned all these different cosmetics and these different materials, and folks were getting sick due to different combinations. Looking back during this last few years for me, I realized right then I saw that they were able to put that right in our face and get us to laugh and think that was just entertainment, because they had already done it for about a generation prior to that with the food, the water, the drink, the processed unnatural stuff. Also with the vaccines, that's how we were able to be cut off to a point to where we couldn't see that we were being poisoned and we were being taught to consume poison constantly. And that's how I grew up. Later joined the Army, 21 years in the Army. During that 21 years, 3 tours in Iraq for a total of 39 months in that country, in an Arab country. Now, to try and make a picture of what I see, us from this place that were brought up to think that this is a Christian nation, we were sent to an Arab nation to attack it, to ignite a war between Christians and Arabs. A war that's been going on, it seems. What I see now, to me, it seems that it's a group, you could call it, I call it the Pharisees of old. It's the same group, though they don't go by those sorts of labels. So you could call it synagogue of Satan if you want. Really what it boils down to is evil. Evil is controlling all the sides of this game that they have us all playing for these different labels. The ones controlling all the sides of the game are using one of the 3 major religions, it seems to me, Judaism, as a cover for what they are doing. What it seems to me that they're doing is doing everything they can to make this go full-blown between Arabs and Christians, so they destroy each other, so they can wipe away all the fakery of the laws that are no longer working because too many know too much now. Uniform Commercial Code and Maritime Law be wiped away so it can all be brought under the Talmud, the Talmudic law, or ecclesiastic law, that level of law only, which the other 2 are based off of now, here. But it's to wipe those away, bring in this ecclesiastic level of law. What level is that? That's God said so level. God said we can do this to you guys because that's what it is. That's man's religion dressed up as God said so. That's ecclesiastic law. So what I see right now concerning Iran, picture this analogy, if you will. 300, if you had seen this movie or know or heard or read about that historical battle, whether it took place or not. Thermopylae, I think. The Hell's Gate Pass. Anyway, 300 Spartans versus a massive army of Persians. standing there to protect their homeland against this invading horde. This invading horde full of debauchery, evil, if you will. Think of it today, right now. What's left of the Persians, who the Persians in Iran, they haven't used their army offensively to leave their borders in a couple hundred years. But what's left now is surrounded by Christians and Arabs. You could look at them as the 300 that are standing there against this massive army that's just a horde that's driven by evil. Because that's what I know that I was doing when I was in. I didn't realize it while I was in. So let me give you another analogy as to why. If you've seen Game of Thrones, which I stopped watching that kind of media a couple years back when I realized what it was doing, what it was designed and intended to do, to program since I was a kid. However, Game of Thrones, I'm glad I watched that, because we were watching that before we stopped. My wife and I, she likes it. She liked it. Liked it. She knows better as well. But anyway, at the end of that character, the Mountain, the character, the warrior who was poisoned full of all kinds of toxic stuff and became just really a mindless beast mode warrior, wasn't so much mindless because the mind could control the body still for him, as I was back when I was in. But I was pumped full of so many toxins, my heart was cut off. Heart was in ice. Heart was encased in stone. Whatever. No empathy. That was cut off. That is what made me a monster akin to that character, the Mountain. Though I'm nothing like a big, strong, super badassery type. I'm just what I am. So anyway, for me, flushing those toxins out after I got out, after the change of diet and the realization and really the true ego death I experienced when my own labels and perceptions and assumptions of myself melted away. And I saw really I was a part of evil because I was told to, because of all these systems, and it was built by the ones that control all the systems. So right now, picture that for the U.S. forces, please. Right now, you stand around those borders really as the horde about to invade this place and crush them in their homes. And realize it's already being done by the weather manipulation. That place is being flooded and starved already. I didn't realize any of these things were going on while I was in. But please look into it. Please stop what you're doing. Please, we need you at home. The folks at home need to be protected. They need to be made of what, not protected because we should all be able to protect and care for ourselves, then each other. But what needs to happen is folk need to come home so they can decompress, realize the lies, heal those broken beliefs and processes of logic and the creativity that's been trained with just nasty images of programming. Because when you cut off from all that and you see everything for what it is and feel yourself fully for what you truly are, once you can get the toxins out and you feel it, you'll know that there's very much of a reason for that character or that man or that being, Christ, why that is being pointed at and mocked and hated so much. Because that story, and I've looked into a lot of the different ones, but I'm no expert on any of them. But that story I found leads to morality, leads to the heart, leads to, if you emulate that act, that in your actions, to know how is this going to feel, not just for me, but for whomever my action may affect, or whatever, to include animals' life. It's that consideration, and then that will guide one on a true path of goodness. And there is no materialism or narcissism attached to that. None. So really, I had no plan for how I wanted to say whatever was going to come out. But I hope I conveyed the message I had well enough. Okay, thanks for listening.